No, I made the baby, the perfect baby, that's the baby.
Excuse me, but we made a baby.
When you think of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, it's easy to see Georgie as the star. He's the Cooper kid fans have followed from Young Sheldon, the one we already know grows into Sheldon's older, business-savvy brother in The Big Bang Theory. But here's the truth most fans overlook. If Season 2 is going to succeed, if this spin-off is really going to carve out its place in the Big Bang universe, then Mandy, not Georgie, has to be the one in the spotlight. Why? Because Mandy is the key that makes this entire story work. Without her, Georgie's arc has no weight. Without her, the family dynamic doesn't make sense. Without her, the title First Marriage is just a punchline, and the writers know it, which is why Season 2 has to shift gears and give us Mandy's perspective like never before. Let's rewind for a moment. When Mandy was first introduced in Young Sheldon, she wasn't meant to be a central character. She was Georgie's older girlfriend, a comedic side plot about a teenager lying to impress a woman in her 20s. But then, the writers took a risk. They didn't just let that storyline fade away, they doubled down. Mandy got pregnant. Suddenly, what was supposed to be a side story became a major arc. And in that moment, the show stopped being just about Georgie's missteps and started being about Mandy's resilience. Think about it. Mandy could have walked away. She could have been written off as a one-season character, a mistake Georgie made as a teenager. But instead, she stayed. She chose to raise her daughter, Cece, and build a life with Georgie, even though he wasn't ready, even though she had every reason to go. That choice is the reason this spin-off exists at all. And that choice is why her voice has to define Season 2, because if Season 1 laid the groundwork for Georgie and Mandy as a couple, Season 2 has to show us who Mandy really is. Not just as Georgie's wife, not just as Cece's mom, but as a woman with her own dreams, her own flaws, and her own struggles. We've already seen glimpses of it. The way she sacrifices, the way she manages chaos, the way she silently carries frustrations that Georgie doesn't even notice. But now it's time to put those moments front and center. Here's the thing about Georgie. We already know his trajectory. The Big Bang Theory told us the broad strokes. He's going to become a successful businessman. He's going to own a chain of tire stores. He's going to have failed marriages.
I got him on consignment. Didn't cost us a penny.
I don't care. I told you not to do it.
So while watching Georgie stumble toward that destiny is entertaining, it isn't mysterious. Mandy, on the other hand, is a complete unknown. The canon doesn't tell us where she ends up. Does she remarry? Does she build a career of her own? Does she stay close to the Coopers? Or does the divorce push her away? We don't know, and that mystery is what makes her arc so compelling. Season 2 has the perfect opportunity to lean into this. Imagine episodes that show Mandy trying to balance motherhood with rediscovering her identity. Picture her exploring career paths, maybe going back to school, maybe starting a small business of her own. Picture her clashing with Georgie not just about bills and parenting, but about the life she wants versus the life she feels stuck in. That tension isn't just drama. It's real, it's relatable, and it's the kind of storytelling that could elevate this show from a simple spin-off to a character-driven hit. And here's another reason Mandy needs the spotlight. She grounds the Cooper family in a way no one else does. Remember, Georgie is impulsive. He's a dreamer, always chasing the next big idea, whether it's tires, hustle schemes, or shortcuts to success. He's lovable, but he's unreliable. Mandy, on the other hand, is practical. She's the adult in the room. She's the one who forces Georgie to face reality, who protects Cece from Georgie's reckless side, who calls out Sheldon's quirks without enabling them, and who earns Mary's trust even when the family dynamic gets messy. In fact, if you look closely, Mandy is already the glue that holds the family together in First Marriage. When Georgie clashes with his parents, Mandy smooths things over. When Mary gets judgmental, Mandy provides balance. When Cece needs stability, Mandy delivers it. She is, in many ways, the emotional anchor of the series. But so far, she's been written more as a support than as the lead. Season 2 has to change that, because here's the risk. If the show focuses too much on Georgie, it'll fall into a predictable cycle. Georgie dreams too big, Georgie messes up, Georgie apologizes, and Mandy forgives him.
For the past couple of days, you've been agreeing with everything that I say.
You're right.
Stop it!
I'm sorry.
That formula works in small doses, but across multiple seasons, it gets stale. The way to keep the show fresh is to flip the perspective. Show us Georgie through Mandy's eyes. Show us what it's like to be married to someone who's equal parts charming and frustrating, dependable one day and reckless the next. Show us the cost of love when love comes with sacrifice. And don't forget, this show is called First Marriage. That title is a promise. It tells us right away that Georgie and Mandy won't make it. They're going to divorce. So if the writers only focus on Georgie, the story becomes about a man we already know will fall in love. But if they focus on Mandy, the story becomes about a woman who has to rebuild after heartbreak. And that, narratively, is far more interesting. Watching Mandy find her voice, her strength, and her path beyond Georgie isn't just a subplot. It could be the emotional heart of the series. There's also the audience factor. Fans adore Mandy. When she was first introduced, many thought she'd be temporary. Instead, she became one of the most beloved new additions to the universe. Why? Because she's authentic. She's sarcastic but loving. She's tough but vulnerable. She has chemistry not only with Georgie, but also with the entire Cooper family. Fans see themselves in her frustrations, her compromises, and her quiet moments of resilience. And if Season 2 sidelines her in favor of Georgie's antics, the show risks losing the very thing that makes it special. Now let's talk about Mandy's potential arcs in Season 2. First, motherhood. Raising Cece while balancing a shaky marriage offers endless storytelling potential. How does Mandy navigate Georgie's immaturity when she needs him to step up as a father? How does she balance her own identity while constantly being defined as the mom? These are universal questions that would deepen the show. Second, career and independence. Mandy is too strong a character to be stuck solely in domestic storylines. Giving her a professional journey, whether it's building a business, pursuing a passion, or even clashing with Georgie over money, would open new dimensions. It would also foreshadow the independence she'll need once their marriage ends. Third, the looming divorce. Even if it doesn't happen in Season 2, the show can and should plant seeds. Moments where Mandy questions if she's happy. Conversations where she wonders if she's settled too quickly. Glimpses of her imagining a different life. These subtle clues won't just build tension. They'll make the eventual split heartbreaking, but inevitable. And here's the mind-blowing part. Focusing on Mandy in Season 2 actually makes Georgie's arc stronger. Because Georgie's growth doesn't come from his business alone. It comes from loss. It comes from realizing that he had something incredible and let it slip away. If we don't fully understand Mandy, if we don't see her as more than just his wife, then when they divorce, the audience won't feel the impact. But if we've invested in Mandy, if we've seen her struggles and triumphs, then losing her won't just hurt Georgie, it'll hurt us too. And that's what makes great television. So when we ask the question, why must Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 spotlight Mandy? The answer is simple. Because she is the heart of the story. Because she's the unknown variable. Because she's the one who grounds the chaos. The one who will rise from the wreckage. And the one who transforms this spin-off from a comedy about a teenage mistake into a genuine, human story about love, loss, and identity. Without Mandy in the spotlight, Season 2 risks being predictable. With her, it could be unforgettable.